Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a special edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast, the 5th anniversary season. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. If you're listening to any of our audio pages, please subscribe, download this episode and more episodes, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. I am thrilled to welcome back one of my favorite people when it comes to my fellow podcasters. She's the queen of challenge TikTok with over 161,000 followers as this recording. And her content, let's just say, has been liked nearly 5 million times. And she's the host of the Most Likely podcast. Please help me welcome one of my favorite people, Paige, back for the podcast and for the first time solo.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I have been wanting to do this with you for so long, so I'm glad that we made it happen.
And Paige, I'm so grateful to have you here, especially on the 5th anniversary season, because I wanted to give back to the people who have been supporting me. And you have been one of my people that I've always been going to advice, saying, okay, is this going to look bad? Or like, can I post this? What are the repercussions for this when it comes to the challenge community? So I want to say thank you.
Of course, anytime.
All righty, Paige. So the last time we had our conversation was my birthday bash episode where you shared it with Drew and Dylan. So you're here. So we're here let's do this because this is so. How have you grown as a podcaster since we last spoke?
Man, it's funny. I took a break, maybe like 5 or 6 months. I just had a lot going on in my personal life. And to be honest, I really hated season 39 of the challenge. It was really hard for me to cover it because I did not like it. So I took a break. So for me, that was growth. I took a break to regroup, figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So now I'm putting out what I love and what I think is really good quality versus just putting out a product for the sake of it. And since the last time we talked, my last interview was CT. Like I had always said, like, as soon as I interviewed CT, like I'd be done with interviews. And that's kind of what happened. I don't think that I'm done with interviews. I still have Rachel and Veronica and some of these other icons that I want to interview. But I mean, I hit the holy grail and I took a break. So for me, that's growth for sure.
And absolutely. And I got to talk about you because you brought Derek onto the podcast and CT as well. But I think I got to say that was kudos for you to getting both of them. I think I messaged you afterwards and when I said bravo, but I think having that, what's that moment having with CT? Because you have been doing CT Tuesdays. You even presented him with a salute at one of the New York challenge meetings, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was I met him in New York and we had like a nice meeting. It was nice because he like knew who I was. But then in Phoenix, we got to spend like a significant amount of time together outside of Challenge Mania and stuff. And we kind of I consider him a friend for sure. So we became friends after that. And so for me, it was kind of a full circle moment with the CT Tuesday and everything, but there was a moment where I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this interview because A, I don't want this new person in my life to think that like I'm using him for clout. And B, it's weird now. Like I was like, it's weird now that I like make posts about this person and stuff like that. But it was really full circle and I'm glad that it happened the way that it did. I'm glad that it didn't happen through his agent or through random DMs. Like we actually knew each other and knew personal things about each other. And so I feel like the chemistry was more natural. So it happened exactly the way it was supposed to. So yeah.
That's amazing to hear that. And while we're on the subject of CT, and I'm sorry to do this, since we last spoke, CT and Trishelle won Traders USA Season 2 and outlasted several reality TV legends, including Dan Giesling, Janelle Perzina, Parvati, Santa Andreas Twine, and the most infamous one of them all, Jonathan Potassium.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, how does CT and Trishelle's victory help or hurt challenge contestants who are competing on Traders?
So here's the thing. CT and Trishelle could not be better casting choices for a show like Traders. Could not be. So I think that is amazing that they went on there and of course that they win. Trishelle is one of the most underestimated women in reality TV and I will die on that hill. But I think it does one of two things. One, it makes people want to maybe watch the challenge. it makes the producers of Traders want more challengers on there. But then I think it also makes MTV production and casting be like, make their contracts stronger so they can't go do Traders and things like that. Like, I don't think they want challengers to do other things. I really don't, because you're telling me that Corey Wharton isn't getting offers for reality shows all over. I don't believe that. I believe that his contract keeps him pretty married to MTV. I heard that Josh Martinez was supposed to be on Traders, but he couldn't because of his MTV contract. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it brings viewership to the challenge and it makes them more marketable, but I also think it makes MTV want to hold them closer to them and not let them get away to a bigger network like Peacock.
And it's a shame too, because some of these amazing people, like I'm glad you brought up Josh and Corey, because and the reason why they're going out losing, letting their stars out trying to show us on outside shows. But if you had the opportunity to say who would be a great fit for this show, if the challenge gods change their mind and say, okay, we'll let you form Traders if you're not able to do another season or two.
Yeah, so I always think of like challengers as old school, new school. So old school girls would be Veronica for sure. I think she would win. I think it would be incredible. And new school, to be honest, I think Nerys would do incredibly well because I think she's underestimated in general. And then old school guys, honestly, I don't think Derek would do well, but I want to see him on it, if that makes sense. Like, I think he would be a super fun cast member on it. I'm not sure how well he would do, but I think he would be fun. And then new school, I don't know, Corey Wharton kind of the same. Like, I don't think he would do well, but I think it would be fun. I know people want like the Wesses and the Jordans, and in my opinion, it's just as fun to see them do badly as it is to see them be successful. So for me, it would be Derek and Corey for the boys, or Veronica and Nerys for the girls, for sure. Demi would actually do really well too.
Who? I'm so sorry.
Oh, Jemmy would do incredibly well. So
yeah. Especially since she's in the middle, has her connections in the Bravo universe.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think one of the things in Traders that you need to be successful, which is so funny because CT clearly, you have to kind of know who everybody is. And I don't think CT knew who nobody was, which I think is funny. But Jemmy would know who every single person was. Veronica would know who every single person is. So I think that is definitely an advantage. But I'm excited to see the new season of Traders. I heard Wes comes on later. And yeah, I'm excited for that for sure.
All righty, I gotta say this. Spoiler alert to everybody. I'm so sorry.
I don't think casting is spoilers, in my opinion. So I'm really sorry. I think it was announced by Peacock though. So I don't think so yeah, sorry. I don't think casting is spoilers, but I'll never say winners ever.
Absolutely.
Or even like eliminations or anything like that. I don't, that's not me.
All righty. Before we get deep dive into what's been going on with the challenge world, I want to talk to you about the most likely rebrand. Yeah. So what can you describe the rebranding process to my audience?
Yeah. So long story short, my podcast started 3 years ago, and I had started it with a friend from high school, and we called it Most Likely to TWO. And part of the reason that we did that is because in high school, we were both voted most likely to be on The Real World. So we were doing this together, and honestly, he dropped out of the podcast pretty quickly. And I'm actually very grateful that he did, because it was, for me, I think I should have been solo the whole time. I just didn't have the confidence to do it. So with taking the break and all of that, I was like, I want to do something to stand out more. My logo had always been like, it's kind of cartoony or whatever, which is like fine. But I was like, I want to change everything. So I did a photo shoot, and I took some amazing photos and decided to just kind of rebrand the look. I'm dropping the 2, so it's just going to be Most Likely Podcast. And there's a few reasons for it. One, I think that I've grown a lot since the beginning. 2, I want to make sure that I stay solo and like kind of stay true to myself. And 3, like I would like to branch into things that are not just reality TV and pop culture at some point. And I think the new label does that. So it's kind of like a rebirth, reinvention. So I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
And I'm so excited for you because the logo looks epic. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to tell everyone this. You, Dylan, and Challenge Mania helped actually were the inspiration behind my new logo.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I
yes.
like it.
Yeah, thank you. I got to give a shout out to my friend Alan at Finnegan Studios in Kansas City. He helped me design it, and we really wanted to make sure that when I did my podcast, it's like I really like what Paige had. I loved what Scott and Derek were doing. I love what Dylan has it. We want to make sure that it's also a serious podcast as well.
Yeah, I really love I love all those logos. You know what's so funny is Dylan was thinking about changing his logo to be like not a digital one, be like himself, but now he can't do it because I did it first. So yeah.
We love you, Dylan.
Love you, Dylan. I didn't even know. So
Alrighty, so we got, speaking of Dylan, you guys do a wonderful job with the challenge, and I want to shout out Allie, who did a fine job with you guys doing on All Stars 4. So we got to talk about All Stars 4. Even though she lost, Cara Maria won the fans' heart this season's run. So what were your thoughts about this season?
Overall, I'd give it like a solid 7. I was pretty excited to see Avery because I didn't really connect with her as a viewer, and now I feel like I have. And Steve really shined for me. I think he's super underrated. Cam and Leroy, it was good to see them back. Man, Leroy, you know, I've said it and I'll say it again. People say that Leroy is the best to never win. No. Like I love Leroy. I will always want to see him on the show. I will always hope he wins. But like he was not impressive at all. And even not just in the final, throughout the season. So that was a little weird. And then, I mean, Cara being back is iconic. We've been waiting for it forever. I think All Stars was kind of the perfect a place for her to come back there. Laurel gave weird energy the whole time. And I will never understand their friendship or dynamic, but I don't like the final. I didn't like the format of it. I thought that it was set up for Cara not to win, not on purpose necessarily, but like no one was going to give her those stars. And so yeah. And also Derek Chavez, I love him so much, and he gave Laurel the star cuz he wanted like queer representation or whatever. He could have given it to Cara or Veronica also, though. So I was just a little confused about that. But I don't disagree with the representation part. I just, there were other options. But, you know, Laurel's a great competitor. That's her second win. I've always said that Laurel statistically and rationally should have more wins than she does. So I'm not mad that Laurel won. I'm mad how she won, if that makes sense.
I agree. Like the thing that kind of gives me the bitter taste in the mouth, the way she treated Cara that season, and a lot of people lost a lot of points with me with their legacies. I don't look at Cam I look at Cam the wrong direction. I look at Leroy the wrong direction. I look at Flora. I will not have Flora on my podcast, and neither will I not have Adam. But also, and Veronica really kind of. I've got to say that was kind of right about her. They may be polarizing, but the thing.
I will say Veronica is nothing but consistent though. And the first time I met Veronica, and I don't think she would mind me saying this, but the first time I met Veronica, first of all, I was struck. I've never been starstruck in my life. I love Veronica so much. And she had kind of talked about, I was with Tina and we were all kind of talking about something, and I had mentioned Cara. And she kind of looked at me. I was like, oh, Cara and I are friends. And she was like, I'm sorry. Like, as a joke, obviously, like, didn't really mean it. And I was like, well, I love her. And she was like, listen, she's just not for me. I think Veronica has been consistent in the fact that she is not a Cara fan and never will be. And so for me, I personally think that Veronica is one of the most consistent people when it comes to, I don't like her. I'm not going to be friends with her. I'm not going to do all that stuff. So I get why people don't like that, but I have to respect that because I don't respect Laurel being like, I got you and I'm leaning on you. And then, you know, screaming at her. And then when she goes to the finals, she's cheering her on. That is confusing to me. Veronica is not confusing to me because she's consistent with, I don't like this person or these people or whatever.
I agree. I gotta say, Steve was a revelation this season. I gotta say, he definitely, and JG bounced out. He came out of nowhere, and I think he came in with the mindset of what All Star should be, is rewriting your legacy, and I think he did a masterclass of that.
Absolutely.
I gotta say, another person that came out and re-looked at their legacy really hard and long. I gotta say, Cara Maria still even with the back against her wall. I always made sure that I was cheering her on, and I gotta say, I think she redefined her legacy. And I gotta say, I gotta give Ace a shout out too, because I think Ace really redeemed himself, especially after that horrible, awful showing during the first season of All Stars.
Yeah, love Ace. He should be protected at all costs. I also think that Rachel solidified the fact that she's an absolute legend as well. I was really happy to see her back.
Same here.
It's weird to me how fans go like this with competitors, and it's mostly with female competitors. But you know, Cara had this upward swing and everybody loved her. She had Cara's cult, all those things. And then when she took her break after War of the Worlds 2, it was hate, 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 hate. And now that she's back, everybody's on her train, but now everybody's hating on Cam. So it's this weird juxtaposition that all of them are in. But I really think that Cara is back, and she's back not with a vengeance, but like she's back with confidence in herself. And that is so good to see. She looks so good. She's just a good person who loves to compete and loves the show. And I hope that we see another Cara win in the future for sure.
Absolutely. And the thing is, there are a lot of people, there's only a few competitors that in the challenge community that look up to older brother figures like Derek and Mark. And also, but however, and John Brennan, of course, but there's only a few. And like Beth is the honorary aunt when it comes to the challenge for me. And Cara is like the older sister, honorary older sister figure.
Yeah, I love her. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about Cara ever. And like I said, I look forward to seeing more wins from her because I know that she's beyond capable of it. And she's another I actually think that's why her and Veronica don't really like each other, because they're really true to who they are. Like Cara's not gonna fake like somebody or whatever, and Veronica's the same way, but I'm interested to see what she does in future seasons.
Absolutely. And speaking of future seasons, that's a perfect segue for the Battle of the Eras. As everyone knows, MTV Challenge 40 has gone all out and have decided to honor the show's 25th or maybe 26th anniversary with the biggest battle we have ever seen. And that brings us to this amazing cast. And I would love to get your opinion on this,
yeah,
my friend. So we're going to start with the OGs. We have Anissa, Brad, CT, Darrell, Jody, Katie, Mark, Rachel, and Tina. And look at this group. This is an amazing group.
Yeah, this is like my dream. Like I really, really love Era 1. It's interesting to me because I always like put CT and Bananas like kind of in the same thing, but CT obviously started before. So I think this era will be the best socially for sure. And I think that, I mean, Jody is no one to sneeze at. Derek Kaczynski has no quit in him. You know, no one wants to see CT in elimination. So if they're working in teams, I don't obviously know what the format is. Nobody does. But I think if they're working in teams, like this is the era that people aren't going to want to mess with. And so they just kind of have that factor already. So.
All righty. So I want to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Who, in your opinion, is missing? Or if there was more room?
Susie is missing for me for era 1. I believe she would be in era 1, yeah, but Susie is missing for sure. And honestly, when I think of the challenge in its early days, I really think of Timmy. So I'm not sure if he's like a person that even wants to be on the show or whatever, but it's Susie and Timmy for me, probably for era 1.
Awesome. For me, I got to say this. I am missing two friends of mine, John Brennan and Beth Solaric. John and Beth were to started in with Real World Los Angeles, and John was actually on the first season of the challenge, and Beth was with number 2 of the challenge. So not having the founding mother and father of reality TV there is a little bit of a miss. I also miss Cyrus, and I also miss, I know this is a polarizing name, but Julie. I think Cyrus, we saw her on All Stars. He was this close to defeating Kefla. But I got to say, Cyrus is always so classy. And I think he would definitely intimidate a lot of the people from era 3 and era 4. Mm-hmm. I also got to give Julie, I know Julie, with coming out of Real World Homecoming, a lot of people have left their table polarized. But I love seeing that she's in shape. I think having her and with this cast would be very illustrative, especially with having Rachel and Tina there as to interact with. And I gotta say, you're right, Susie is missing, but I also want to throw in Shane Landrum, because without Shane, 100%. Tyler would not be able to run, Frank would not be able to run, and not only that, Derek Chavez and Ryan as well.
Shane Landrum is one of my most favorite people that I've ever had on my podcast. I'm obsessed with him. I love him so much. So yeah, I would definitely put him in era 1 for sure. And you know what? Sarah Grayson, like I've been saying this forever. Sarah Grayson, Queen of the Gauntlet, should be back. So yeah.
Awesome. So we got to move on to era 2 because we see some familiar faces. Some of them have been on some match, but I got to say this. We get to see some 2 women who haven't been on this cast in ages. I'm talking about Aviv, and I'm talking about Emily Schromm. We also have Brandon. We also have Cara Maria. We also have Derek Chavez. We also have Kellyanne. We also have Laurel and Ryan. And, of course, Jonathan Potassium.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, this cast is funny. Like, era 2 are like my friends. So, like, that's like, you know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at them. Obviously, I could never pick someone to root for ever among this group, because I mean, women, obviously I'm rooting for Cara, but like the men, I could never pick somebody because they are all great. As far as the misses from this, I think Carly Munt deserves to be there. She's a challenge champion. She won Fresh Meat too. She's in incredible shape. She's really active on social media. I think she's a huge miss. And then, Landon, is Landon era 2 or era 1?
I'm thinking more era. I'm newer to this, but I think he belongs to the same group as oh my god, I almost said his name. Jonathan Potassium and Wes.
Yeah, so Landon would be one for me, but I know he said that he'll never come back to the show. And then obviously Wes, I think. You know who I would have liked to see, which probably doesn't fit with this theme at all, but I want to see Danny from the Real World Austin back.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Melinda, too. Melinda's a huge miss. I think, if I'm being honest, I would take out... No, I'm not going to say who, but I would put Melinda in here.
I think that's a good choice. I got to say this, the Wes and Landon are the guys, and I know that Wes had another obligation with the House of Villains, but I think with his Twitter post and everything, I think he was like saying, I can't believe I was with Teresa and Mr. Spectacular over these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong, and Wes is more welcome to come on the podcast to say that they disagree, but like I have respect to him for my hometown hero. And I got to say, Teresa and Sarah Rice are two big misses. I think if we had Susie, we would have gotten Sarah. We would have loved to have seen Sarah and Bananas interact for the first time in years. And I got to say, it'd been interesting to have, if Wes was there, it'd have been Wes and Cara versus Jonathan Potassium and Laurel for control of this team.
Yeah, I'm a Teresa Jones stan. I love her. I actually think between her and Cam, best to never win.
I totally agree, and I kind of wish that Teresa was treated fairly on Double Agents because I loved seeing her with Jay.
Yeah, I did too.
All righty, we're going to move on to Era 3, and we have the one, the only Amanda Garcia, Avery, Corey, Devin, Joanna, Jordan, Leroy, Naya, Tony, Time, and Tori.
Yeah. Listen, I love Amanda Garcia. I know a lot of people don't. I love her. I'm glad that Avery's back. Do I think that she should be on this iconic season? I don't know, but I do really like Avery. Kind of always rooting for Corey to have that win. And love John A forever. Who would I have loved to see? This one's hard. Maybe Jenna. And I would like to see Amanda and Jenna interact, or Amanda and Zach interact again. I think that would be fun for probably only me, but for like the viewers, but I think that would be really fun. This Era 3 is a hard one because during that time they weren't adding a ton of people. Like they were, but they didn't like stand out in the same ways that like the Jordans and the Coreys and all of it have. And I also think it's interesting that Jonna and Derek Chavez are in different eras.
Really?
I mean, they started on the same season, but because they started on different seasons of the challenge, they're in different eras. I think if Jonna and Chavez were together, that would be incredible. They both said that they're each other's ride or die. So for me, that is a weird thing. But yeah, this team is the most underwhelming to me.
I have to agree with you. Era 3 is not as exciting as some. Well, we'll get to the other era, but however, the thing is with Era 3, I know a lot of people. I got to say this: I would have swapped out Devin with two of the most polarizing champs. I know one of them you don't like and don't consider champ, but Hunter Barfield. I think it would have been wonderful to see Hunter back, especially fighting for his son, and of course Dr. Frank Sweeney Fox as well, because the second LGBT man to win.
Oh yeah, Frank definitely should be there. I argue that every female challenge champion should be called. Always too. So like that could be Sam and Ashley as well.
I agree.
But yeah, Hunter for me is not a challenge champion, but also at the same time, he should be on the challenge. Also, where the heck is Ashley Mitchell?
I agree, because that was Ashley and Jenna with Millionaire Mitchell would have been fire, especially to have her and Amanda together again.
Love it.
And not to mention Jenna, it would have been fun to see Jenna back as well.
Have we seen Naya and Ashley on a challenge together? I don't think so. I think that would be the best. It would either go left or be the most amazing thing ever. So yeah.
I agree completely, but it's going to be very interesting. Now we got to get to the last group, and I got to say this group of people, I know I have a couple of people in there that I really like. Shout out Paulie.
Yeah, I love you, Paulie.
All right, but we have Horacio, Jenny after Total Madness. I never thought we would see her again. Then we have Josh and Casey and Kylan and Michelle, Olivia and Theo.
Yeah, so I will say I'm really excited to see Jenny back. I made a lot of videos about how much I can't stand Josh, and I met him and we had like the best time. And I literally said to him, I said, I don't take back nothing I said, but I'm not going to say anything bad about you again, unless you do something on TV that deserves it. So I think Josh has been working on his fitness. I think he deserves to be there, to be honest. I could go without Michelle Fitzgerald and be fine. I would be fine without her. Theo Campbell is always somebody who I want on the show. I wanted him to come back forever. And I'm a huge Theo fan. I love Nerese. Excited to see her and Olivia back together. Horacio had posted his cast photo and he said, like, The Last Dance, implying that this was his very last season. So I hope it's a good one for him. But again, like Casey and Michelle, if I never saw them again, that would be fine. And I also think it's funny that neither one of us said that Nany was a miss. Like, we're not even really thinking about Nany. So I don't love some of these people, but I
gotta say,
Paulie and Theo have a fight again because I liked that.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling Paulie and Theo might be. If I remember correctly from Paulie's video impression with on Zach's podcast, when Theo left Paulie a fiery message after World Championship, Theo missed his rival.
Yeah, I think they would be great rivals, and I'm also excited because, like, Theo and Olivia, I mean, she got his name tattooed on her after this season. Like, she's been posting that all over her social media. They are very much together. I think there was a Us Weekly article that Theo and Olivia are together. I can't wait to see that. And then Nerese and Horacio together. Like, there's some couples happening, which I'm really excited about. And I won't say it, but I've also heard about some showmances that have happened. I mean, Michelle and Devin publicly confirmed their relationship. And there's the craziest hookup that I won't say on this, but I'm telling you guys, it will be worth it. You will be like, what? So you watch it for the hookups alone.
Alrighty, so there have been some. So this K group, I think it feels the most incoherent of all the groups.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, if I had a chance, I gotta say, I feel sad that my friend Jay Starrett is not on, because I know a lot of people. I think 39 put a lot of people's bad taste in her mouth. But however, I gotta bring up some strong points. I know he took down your favorite person, CT, in Total Madness. He helped co-mastermind the elimination of Millionaire Mitchell in Double Agents. He also helped masterminded Laurel's departure from Ride or Die. So I got to say, if any survival finalists, I got to say, not having him here, I know I heard that he dropped out, but I got to say it's a missing in action, because I know Jay had to burn a lot of bridges, but I know if Jay has the back against as well, he can outfight it. I got to say, Josh Mooney is sorely missed. I kind of wish MTV did not treat him wrongly. And I got to say, I still remember seeing him race off the Gibraltar and then going head-to-head with Derek in one of the greatest modern-day eliminations of all time, and nearly winning Final Reckoning. So not having Josh there is a huge miss. And also, where's Turbo? Turbo is probably one of them of the 30s. We know that Bananas or CT or Jordan haven't won. Turbo should be there. He's one of the most explosive. And it'd be very interesting to see someone like a Brad or someone like a Jody who hasn't seen a Turbo up close before.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. The Era 4, it's funny because I think there were a lot of people on the Challenge USA that could have done like really good things on the flagship. Like, I think of like Cinco or whatever. But like, they really only gave Kyland a chance. So it's hard for me to kind of pick those guys. But as far as females, I would not have been mad about seeing Georgia.
Oh yeah, Georgia was a huge miss.
Yeah, Georgia would have been a good one. I really I like Raven. Oh yeah. I like Raven too, but I heard she declined because she has school.
And I gotta say, she did even though this cast would have been legendary, I agree with the decision about having your academia.
Yeah, for sure. We love an educated queen. I like her. I think she's a really good vibe. So.
And I got to say, I'm missing Michaela here, because the thing is, it would have been perfect to have her here And also, they were able to get Jay. It had been the first time in a decade that they shared a stage together.
Yeah, Michaela's a big miss too. I really like her. And also Desi.
Oh, yeah. I think Desi, not having Desi here, and even Chris Underwood, it would have been interesting to see Chris Underwood here.
Yeah, I think he's having a baby, and I also think he's done with reality TV. Desi, I don't know. I don't know. I know she was injured, so maybe that has something to do with it. But no, I hope we see Desi again. She's incredible.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna leave Challenge 40 and talk about Challenge All Stars 5. It has wrapped up with filming. Are you satisfied with the alleged cast? Why or why not?
Overall, yes, because it fits the theme, the alleged theme. However, I firmly believe that it should be female partners, male partners, or co-ed partners. It shouldn't be like a weird mix of all of this. And from what I've heard, it's a weird mix. But overall, I think the cast is good. I would have liked to see maybe Corey and Tony. I would have liked to see Cara and Laurel.
Especially after All Stars 4.
Yes. I also would have liked to see Paulie with anybody, probably, because he has
Paulie with potassium.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Yeah, so I think that there are some misses. Of course, there always are, but I think overall it's a great theme and a great cast. I'm excited. Can I say who's the alleged cast, or don't say?
I think yes. I think it's now. I think we're all guys. I'm sorry, but Gamer and Pink Rose have the credits that they dropped the names. And Paige, I feel comfortable with you showing this.
So Shane and Davon, give me that all day.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm so excited when I saw them.
So excited. And then Frank Sweeney and Sam, forever.
Which is a major one too. And
major.
I think Sam's the last one that Frank has had to apologize to, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and she deserved that apology. But either way, like, I've always been a big Sam fan or whatever, but I'm excited to see them back together. And then Melissa and Nicole, I think, is going to be a disaster. So I'm excited to see them interact because Melissa doesn't take any crap. And then, there are some where I'm like Corey Lay and Big T. I'm like, okay, like we could have done something different, but I still like them. So yeah. And then Beth and John A. Like, good night. That's gonna be great. And we have Millionaire Mitchell back.
Yeah, and remind me who's her partner again?
Anissa, which I have several questions about because
I'm sorry, but it should have been Ashley and Hunter 2.0.
It should have been Ashley and Tori.
Oh wow.
In my opinion, it should have been Ashley and Tori because of a million different reasons. So not that I don't like Anissa or think I don't think of rivalries when I think of Anissa, to be honest.
And has she buried the hatchet with Rachel?
Anissa?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just think Anissa she like kind of pops off at people, but then she's like lovable, so they kind of get it back together or whatever. So yeah, I just I don't think that is the correct pairing. I'm not saying that neither one of them should be on there, but I just don't think they should be together. So and then Adam and Steve are a partnership, which it's hard with rivals because you like want to I want to root for Steve, but I can't stand Adam. So
same here.
Yeah. So but yeah, no, I think I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. I think there's going to be a lot for us to watch unless they leave it on the editing room floor.
And I've been seeing gamers Twitter, and oh boy, guys, there's a lot of drama.
I won't say who or anything like that, but I spoke to somebody for like a couple hours the other day who filmed, and we're like, if they keep the stuff in, it's going to be incredible. So
we might need to have you, and I might need to have you and Dylan to break all this down because you guys know the tea better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, we get lucky. We have insight in certain things. And Gamer and Pink Rose haven't released the winners yet. Obviously, I won't say it. I know who wins. And I think regardless of who you're rooting for on the season, the final won't be disappointing either. Not based on the winner, but just based on the format that I heard. So,
which is going to be fun. And hopefully we're looking forward to seeing All Stars 5 in the future.
yes, hopefully very soon.
All righty. So we got to talk about, I know CT and it was your holy grail of interviews. Yeah. And I know that you want, and I know Rachel and Veronica are also part of your interview, your holy grail. But yeah. Who else would you like to see on your podcast, especially if you're going away from, if you're going not just from reality television, but into a new field?
So, as far as like the challenge world, I would actually like to interview Laurel. I think I've met her as an individual, and I think she's a great person. And so I actually would like to interview Laurel. I think she would be good. And then I've said Cam a bunch of times, and I would still love it. I just think it's like, Cam's a mother. She has a million things going on. But as far as outside the challenge world, it's still reality TV, but I'm a big Bravo stan. I watch a lot of Bravo shows. If I could interview Paige DeSorbo, I would be so happy. She's on Summer House. She hosts one of the most popular podcasts on the planet, Giggly Squad. She is the most... I love Paige DeSorbo. She is just... I can't even explain how much I love her. And if I had to interview somebody that was not related to reality TV at all, 100%, I've said this a million times, it would be Dennis Rodman, hands down, all day, every day. So, yeah.
I remember you dropping Dennis Rodman's name in our first podcast together.
Love him. I love him so much, and I think he would be the craziest interview ever. I think he would be great. Who's like your dream like sports interview? Like if you could interview any athlete, who would it be?
It's going to be very interesting with this group. I got to go with a former Royal, Johnny Damon. I got to say, I would love to speak with Mr. Michael Jordan. Yeah. I would love to have the opportunity to speak with Serena Williams. I would love to have the opportunity to interview Christy Yamaguchi, especially to talk about her Dancing with Stars run. And I got to say, another one that sticks out to me would be Tiger Woods. And also, I got to say, any member, and Simone Biles. Oh my God, Simone Biles.
I was just going to say Simone Biles is incredible. I'm obsessed with gymnastics, like Olympic gymnastics. And I didn't watch last summer's Olympics, like 2020 or whatever. Mm-hmm. But Jade, I don't know. I can't remember her last name. I'm obsessed with this Olympic team in general. These girls are incredible. These are role models. And the fact that Simone Biles is 27 years old and still probably an Olympic gold medalist is mind-blowing.
And I got to mention, I would love to have both of them on together. It'd be crazy. Yes. But Jason and Travis Kelce.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. You know what's funny is I like Taylor. I like Travis. I like them together. I really think they're going to get married and have babies.
I have a feeling too. And besides, if they settle down in Kansas City, that would probably be the biggest, especially for my hometown. It'd be so beneficial. And like, we will leave them alone. They don't have to worry about the stalkers or anything or the crazy paparazzi. But lastly, I got to say this. I cannot forget to mention Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah. He would be a great interview. I would actually interview his wife because she gets a lot of crap in the media that I don't necessarily think she deserves. So I would love that.
And also, I got to give Brittany a huge shout out to because she has been a huge influential role making sure that Casey Kearns has a new stadium and also is going to breathe a lot of new life into this economic life into the city.
Yeah, I think she's a good person.
I agree too. So we got to start winding down our conversation. So, Paige, where can they find the podcast? And of course, where can they connect with you on social media?
So podcast is available on wherever you listen to podcasts. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I'm not on YouTube, but Apple Podcasts, Spotify, those are the big ones. And of course, like Amazon Podcasts, they do their own thing. And then as far as social media, so you can follow me on TikTok at pretty_pettyx. I also have an Instagram with the same name, but you guys, it's just like pictures of me and I like post my boyfriend sometimes. Like it's not that serious, but where I post all the reality TV stuff is most likely _pod on Instagram. That's where you want to be. It's the same on Twitter. So I'm not super active on Twitter, but Instagram, I'll definitely be active. I read all my DMs on Instagram. And I try to reply to all my comments on TikTok. So yeah, that's where y'all can find me.
Awesome, guys. Happy recent episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. Now 300 plus. Visit our channels on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Podchaser, Spotify, and Spreaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar. JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And guys, want to check out my original interview with Paige? Want to check out my interviews with some of the challenge icons? Oh, I don't know, Derek Kaczynski and Paulie, and Jay, Starrett, and also John and Beth. You can find them all on jakes.shake.com. The blog that started all, jakes.shake.com. Paige, I am so happy that we were able to come on, do this together, especially on the 5th anniversary season. I'm so proud of all that you accomplished.
Thank you.
I cannot chat again soon.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. And I can't wait to do this again.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.